Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. It's a little unusual that we're meeting at 2 o'clock today, so we appreciate your flexibility. We're used to that 11 o'clock time slot on Fridays. Today we have with us Terry Lanham, who is one of our care coordinators that runs our Kendal at Home BalloFlex class. We also have Julie Buckeye, who is the owner and founder of BalloFlex. So we're so super excited to have Julie with us today as well. Some of you may have attended some of our previous talks regarding fall reduction and the incidence of falls in the seniors. And so part of our effort to focus on fall reduction has been the introduction of several opportunities for members to participate in exercise. One of those opportunities is our twice a month strengthening exercise class that we have focused more on upper and lower body strengthening and core strengthening. And then we also offer twice a month. Terry runs our BalloFlex class as well. And we have a recent membership available to all of our members to Spiral 100, which if you have not given it a try or you need some help navigating that system, we'd be more than happy to assist you with that. It is an on-demand exercise class. Set of classes that really runs like a Netflix for exercise. And so you can choose from Tai Chi and seated exercise, and standing exercise, exercises that are targeted for specifically to decrease fall risk. So we're really trying to take a comprehensive approach and offering lots of different opportunities to decrease falls and get our folks up and moving. So Julie, we're so happy to have you here today. Nothing better than going directly to the source, and BalloFlex has been such a great member benefit that we've been able to offer that we are so happy to have you here with us today. And I was hoping you might be able to start with just talking a little bit about your experience and what led you to finding BalloFlex.
Yeah, well, thank you. Thank you all for being here today. And most importantly, thank you for being flexible with your schedule so that you can meet with me this afternoon in the afternoon. So thank you, thank you, thank you. So my name is Julie Buckeye. I live in Cuyahoga Falls, Ohio, and I am a native of these lands. I actually just got back like 2 days ago from Arizona. So I am beaming from the beautiful red rocks and the sunshine. And believe it or not, on Tuesday morning, it was like 39 degrees when I woke up in Arizona. I was like, what? I thought this was Northeastern Ohio type stuff. But anyways, so with BalloFlex, for those of you that have never heard of it before, ballo means to dance. So ballo, what that means is actually to dance. And the flex is for the flexing and the stretching part of the program. So I have been a professional dancer I've been dancing for about 24 years. And I started performing on stage. That would have been probably like 18 years. So for 18 years, I've been a performing artist. I did not have a dance background at all when I was a little kid. So I started taking dance in my 20s. And I studied ethnic dance. I fell in love with like cultural and music. I loved and adored music from different countries and the colors and the costumes. So I started studying folk dance, and I was not a natural dancer by any means. Like I had 2 left feet. I felt so insecure about dancing. But it was so weird. Like in my first 4 weeks of taking classes, there was something inside me that I knew that I was supposed to keep taking lessons. And my only goal for the first 6 weeks was just to get through 6 weeks because I had paid for the classes. So I didn't like to dance. I felt intimidated. I felt very insecure. I felt like I didn't have good enough experience or any experience. And all these other women were just beautiful and they danced so elegantly. So anyways, my intuition was telling me to continue to take classes. And sure enough, and I got goosebumps telling you this, sure enough, it really was an intuitive thing, because I would have had no idea in a million years that I would be destined to teach millions of people how to move through dance and to feel better. So the dance was like newly added, but then the fitness aspect. Now I was raised with fitness. I was hardcore athlete and I'm a runner, and I was like type A, like I'm going to do this. And I did. And I competed in races, and I actually I'm semi-retired from competing in triathlon. So I'm a high level athlete, and I did really, really good. And I love doing it. I love to run. I love to be outside. So it's unique that BalloFlex was woven between these two things, this dance aspect and this fitness aspect. And in the meantime, I threw some yoga on top of that. So I have like 7 years of being certified as a yoga instruction. So I wove all this together. So everything was set before me of all these different parts of myself that were being developed through my lifetime. And again, looking back at my dance career, like people get so intimidated, like, oh, I don't want to do your program because I don't like to dance, or I'm not a good dancer. Well, neither was I. So I'm a very, very simple 101 elementary teacher, and I really like to help people feel better through movement. I truly believe that movement is the most powerful way that you can move from anxiety to depression, sadness, all these bottles of emotions we have. And through movement, you can actually change the course of your day and your destiny. So with BalloFlex, this program was created. So I think it was 13 years ago. I started my own company. And again, this wasn't written in the books like I was going to do this, but it all organically came to me. I definitely have a serving heart. I enjoy helping others. I enjoy uplifting others. It means so much to me when I have the ability to touch other people. And if I can share the wisdom that I've learned through my journey, through movement, that's why I do what I do. So BalloFlex was bloomed out of nowhere, like all these seeds that were planted through the years, all this training and the education that I did, and the competing and the dancing, and but the foundation of the program, when it was bloomed, was genuinely wanting to serve other people. So BalloFlex was created. It went from 1 class to 2 class to 7 to 30 to 80 to 100 to 180. And prior to COVID, there was about 160 classes that were running each month in just a pin drop of Northeastern Ohio. So I have had the privilege to serve many, many, many age ranges of BalloFlex. So at first, I targeted the aging adult population market, and I thought, like, wow, this is really cool. Look at how happy, they make me feel because I'm with them. And that's genuinely what I thought until 9 years ago. I was in a very severe car accident. I was injured very bad. I didn't know if I would be able to walk. My back was injured so bad. And I was removed from any athletic activities other than BalloFlex. And what I noticed in a very short time, it had nothing to do with the people that I was serving. It had to do with what my body was going through when I was able to do the program. So I then started kind of taking a look at it, because I was an athlete. I was an avid runner. I was an avid cyclist. I was in such great shape, but everything was removed from my life other than BalloFlex. And I want to throw in there, I had PTSD really bad. I had really bad post-traumatic stress. I could not drive without crying or shaking. I was a hot mess. Like, I was really not in a good spot. And of course, I was really depressed because I couldn't do the things that I loved. So in a very short time, I was like, oh my gosh, this isn't about the people that I'm serving. This has to do with what's happening inside my body. Like, this is what's happening inside me when I'm able to do this movement. And because I have had such a long-standing history with running and cardio type activities, I was able to observe within myself, like, wow, like, this program, even though I'm sitting down, is my body thinks it's doing something way more than it actually is. And here I am, like, playing around on the chair and doing all this fun things, which you're going to do, and we're going to do it in a minute, so you guys can kind of just get a flavor of what this program is. So I was astonished, because it had nothing to do with who I was serving. It had to do with what was happening inside my body. And I would start my class like upset, frazzled, trying to pull myself together to teach, because I was just a mess. Just getting to classes, I was a mess. To within 5 or 10 minutes, I was like, had a huge shift in the way I was emotionally feeling and mentally feeling. So, and that speaks volumes. Everybody tries to come at fitness from the physical level, like, come on, you got to do workout, come on. But actually, if you take that out of the mix and resonate to something that makes you feel good, like really feel good, then when you feel good, then you emotionally start thinking better, and then you physically want to move. So I was really able to quickly see like, wow, this is really good stuff. And literally I was like, what is this? And then I was like, oh, wait a minute. And it came through just like a lightning bolt, like what was going on in my body. My body thought it was doing something way more physical than it really was. And when I pop back into my little chair, I'm going to show you what I mean by that. So long story short, but it's a good story, from no dance experience, a lot of fitness experience. I had no clue what was coming before me of these things were being prepared. But sure enough, it all kind of folded together. When I started my company, I knew in order to be successful, I needed to find something that I can bring to people, and I needed to be connected with people. I wasn't a dance teacher that wanted to, I don't teach classes for small kids. Mine's an adult dance studio. So this was woven together by so many things. And it took me 3 or 4 years before I even came up with a name. So I didn't even have a name for it. I just didn't know. I just knew there was this, all I kept saying is there's this little bounce that's going on. There's a bounce, and bounce, BalloFlex. And so anyways, that's what that was. So let me pause this for a second, because I'm just going to kick back my chair so you can I can go over a couple things. But BalloFlex, Ballo is a chair dance. Ballo means to dance. It's a chair dance fitness program. And that's what BalloFlex is. It is so dynamic. It is so out of the box. And the cool thing is about this program is it's things that you can learn how to do every day. And you don't need to be in a fitness class. You can just do it when you're like watching TV, or you're drinking outside, drinking some lemonade, or sit with your grandchildren. I mean, it's something that you don't need to go to the gym, and you don't need to really take a class, even though I highly recommend classes, but you can do them. My goal is to empower you to feel more empowered through your day, because mostly in my true heart, I really want you to feel better. And I want you to feel as best as you can based on no matter what's going on in your life and all the different circumstances that you're faced with, as I do. Like if I didn't have this class, I don't know what I'd be doing. Okay, so this is what I'm gonna do. Oh, and I have this furry little cat. His name's Dash. When I start playing the music, he might come down to visit us. So don't be alarmed. All right, so if you are by your computer, I think I can kind of see me. I'm really tiny in the box, so if something's chopped off, just imagine that. I have extensions on the legs and extension on the arms. All right, so if you are sitting by your computer, all you have to do is like kick your chair back. All you have to do is move it back just a tad. Okay, you don't need a lot of space, which is super cool. All right, so number one, I'm going to teach you first thing that is so important, and this is the dancer side of me. I need you to sit up straight. So I'm going to be your supermodel here. If you have the ability to take your back off the chair, please try to do so. So you just sit up nice and straight. So it's your core that we're working here. So this program is a core program. If you're sitting like this, you see how I'm folded in like this? So if you're folded in like this, this is hard for your breathing and your brain, okay? When you're sitting upright, you're getting more oxygen to your brain. All right, so I'm sitting up tall here. The next thing I'm going to do, and this is the dancer in me, you're going to roll your shoulders just slightly back and chin comes up, okay? If you cannot sit like that because it's bothering you, you need to stay like this. If you have like a little pillow or something, prop it behind just small of your back. That'll help sit you upright, okay? All right, let's do it. Since I don't know any of you yet, I'm just going to guess what you might like. And I won't start with the Pineapple Princess song because that's my new favorite song. That's a little much to go out of the gate. All right, let's do it. So what you're going to do is you're just going to follow along with me. Okay, so go like this. Sugar.
of loving you. I just can't believe it's true.
Bring your foot forward.
I just can't believe the wonder of this feeling too. I just can't believe it's true.
March it. Go stretch it.
Oh, honey, honey,
Deep breath in.
you are my candy girl, and you got me wanting you.
Take your arm like this and
Oh,
stretch
honey,
it.
oh, sugar, sugar,
Bring it back.
my candy girl, and you got me wanting you.
Here we go. March your feet. Go.
When I kissed you, girl, I knew how sweet a kiss could be.
Bring it to the side.
Like the summer sunshine, pour your sweetness over
March
me.
it. Stretch it. Go. Plump and bring it down. And forward.
Sugar on it, honey. Oh, little sugar on it, baby. That's so sweet. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, little sugar on it. Oh, yeah.
Stretch it out.
Little sugar on it, honey. Oh, little sugar on it, baby.
Bring it down. Here we go. That's so sweet. Just your hands.
Yeah. Oh, little sugar on it, honey.
To the side. Go. Remember, you can keep your feet close to the body, or you can extend the leg.
I'm my candy girl, and you got me wanting you. Oh, honey, honey, sugar, sugar,
Stretch.
sugar, you are my candy girl.
Take your shoulders and roll it. Open up your chest. Big deep breath in through the nose. Ah, very good. All right, take a bow. Release your lower back. Stretch. Bring it back. Shoulders. Roll it.
Sugar in the morning, sugar in the evening,
Stretch it up a climb.
being on down, sugar, and love me all the time. Honey in the morning, honey in the evening, honey at
Take it like this. Go.
Twist my tail, honey, and love me all the time.
Run it out.
Round me and swear my stars above.
Fast feet.
Shake it and forever in a heaven of
March
love.
it.
Sugar in the morning, sugar in the evening, sugar at
Here's your count. Go.
Keep my little sugar and love me all the time.
Bring it to the side.
Sugar in the morning, sugar time, evening, sugar at sugar time. Be my little sugar and love me all the time.
Here's your pull.
Honey in the morning, honey in the evening, honey at supper
Relax it down.
Be my little honey and love me all the time. Put your arms around me and swear by stars above.
March it.
You'll be an imperator in the heaven
To the side. Go.
Sugar in the morning, sugar in the evening, sugar at supper time. Be my little sugar and love me all the time.
Last over time.
It's any time.
Stretch it out and a stretch.
Like you and me, hug yourself deep.
Big deep breath. Breathe.
Don't go, just be silent. Back home, we live in a heaven of love.
Back to center.
Sugar in the morning, sugar in the evening, sugar at supper
To the side.
Be my little sugar.
Bring it back to your center. Here's your stretch. Lower it down. Release your lower. Bring it with 1, 2, 3, 4.
Sugar time, sugar time, sugar time.
Excellent job. All right, let's do another one. Just a quickie. How about a quickie? All right, there's tons of different dance steps. All right, this is a 4-count step that goes just like this. Here we go.
There's a garden
1, 2, 3.
What a garden, only happy faces bloom there, and there's never been room there for a worry or a
Single toe touches
Oh, there's
forward.
music and there's dancing and a lot of sweet romance.
Make
And
your leg go up.
when they play
Lift
the
it a little bit
polka,
or not.
they all get in the swing. Every time they hear that oh papa,
Switch it.
everybody feels so tra la la. They want to throw their cares away and lubię śpiewa, śpiewa. Then they hear a rumble on the floor. It's a big surprise they're waiting for. And all the couples form a ring. For miles around you'll hear them sing.
Here's your roll.
Roll out the barrel. We'll have a barrel of fun.
His arms like this. Up, down.
Roll out the barrel. We got the blues on the run.
Those blues up,
Sing Bon Terrera.
down, goes
Sing
down.
out a song of good cheer. Now's the time to roll the barrel, 'cause the gang's all
Four
in.
count, step, go.
La 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 la. Whoa, whoa, whoa. La 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 la. Whoa, whoa, whoa. La 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 la.
Here's your roller.
Now's the time to roll the barrel, 'cause the gang's all here. La 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 la.
Bring it down, go.
La 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 la. Hey, hey, hey.
Shoulder, shoulders, arm, leg, open the chest.
La 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 la.
All right. Good job. So the cool thing about this, it doesn't matter what your ability is or your fitness ability, you always take the movements based on what you have the ability to do. So an example, you could always extend the leg way out, or you just bring that leg very super close together. Same thing when you bring it forward. It could be just a little bit. I call them baby steps, a baby step or a longer step. Same thing up above. Like you can use your ranges of motion in a smaller range. Every single move that we do, and I didn't like invent anything like new with what I am doing with the moves, but there is a method behind merging these movements together. Every move that you are doing, even these simple moves, are affecting your mind, your emotions, and your physical body, everything. And if you don't believe me, go out and rake some leaves or do something outside that's going to make you a little sore, and then come in and do a BalloFlex class the next day and you'll feel it. Like even so, something simple as just rolling the arms is working the back muscles. It's working the upper part of the torso. So all these moves, don't underestimate what these really, really simple moves are actually doing. Originally, when I created this, I really did think it was for the aging adult population until I was in my car accident. And then I was in my mid 30s when this accident had occurred. And I was seeing what it was doing for my body and how toned I was getting. Like I lost weight and my body started toning in a different way than what it was when I was doing my normal workout routine. And then I did a test pilot for small children. And sure enough, little kids that are the ages of 2 and 3, actually, yeah, 2, 3, 3-year-olds. The 2-year-olds are a little all over the place, but the 3-year-olds can actually stay in a seated position. When I work with the 2-year-olds, we usually sit on the ground and then I get them up and jumping like a bunch of froggies and things like that. So I have to teach it a little different. But the cool thing is, it's not just for the aging adult population. If anything, it is for every generation, which I really like that. I really, really like that, because that's the last thing I wanted to do, is to create something like an old program, or a program that was stamped as like an older generational program. Because in my heart, I didn't like that. I don't like separation. I don't like segregation. I don't like that, okay, when you're this age, you go here and you're this and you're that. I don't want to be put in a box when I'm in my 80s or 90s. And I certainly don't want to even be put in my box when I'm 40, let alone, you know, a fitness program that's stamping it as, okay, this is only for the aging adult population. I really want to feel as well as I can, no matter what age I am, and take the age out of it. So this, when I did a test pilot into all the different markets, it worked. And what's really cool is, if you're in your 80s or 60s or even close to 100, you can still do BalloFlex with your grandchild. And how cool is that? Like, how many activities of that level of fun and excitement can you actually do without wearing yourself out? So it was never, you know, meant or really fully intended for the aging adult. I mean, originally I started teaching in that market, and I thought it was the people that I was serving. Like, I genuinely did think that until I was seeing what it was doing for me. Now I can't imagine going a day without it. I personally have a severe back injury. I've herniated disc in my neck. I've broken a foot. I've had 2 hip surgeries in the past 13 years. What else? Couple car accidents sprinkled in there. You know, I've had a tremendous amount of grief from losing loved ones. And because I have this movement program that gives me, it's kind of a container. It's a way that I can channel my energy, or just spend a little time with it, and it really makes me feel well. No matter what age we are, movement is truly medicine. It is a way that we can navigate and move through our lives. And that's why I like to speak about these things. You know, a lot of times we don't talk about, you know, the hardships of our life, or we're trying to just always be okay. For me, I love to really highlight, you know, ways that you can actually feel better, and you don't always have to be with somebody to do so. So just by putting on your favorite music in the morning and taking a seat, whether you're out in the sunshine or you're in your basement or in the garage, wherever you want to be, just put some music on, start moving your body. I definitely highly recommend coming to a class. You know, I know Terry is leading classes on, I think it's the 2nd and 4th Monday of the month. I highly recommend, you know, showing up for a class. It is totally better with a teacher. So you have a guide to teach you all the different moves. And then, and being in community is amazing. Even if we're on, you know, just the internet, being in community means a lot. And without each other, like if I didn't have you guys right now, I mean, there would be a void right now in this moment in time in my life. So don't underestimate the power of you showing up for a group activity, how important your presence really is. Learning it through Terry and any other way, whether you're with me or Terry, or, you know, you'll learn the moves, and then you'll learn different things to do. It is critical that you take care of that core, your core. It is no question, your core muscles are vitally important to keep as strong as possible. And you definitely need to be the leader within yourself to do that. So yes, coming to a 30-minute class is great, but these things that you can do all through the day, as long as your doctor doesn't say do not do, there's nothing of these simple moves that it should only empower you by doing. Okay. So does anybody have any questions? This is a good place to pause for questions. And, you know, Terry, I see you. Are we doing it? So, hi. So does anybody, first of all, in the chat button, you could actually, if you have any questions for me about anything that I've shared so far, or if you have any questions for one of the staff. Everybody's so quiet out there.
Thank you, Julie. Like Julie mentioned, you can click on chat and type those questions in, and we'll be able to see those. Julie, do you have a recommendation of frequency of participating in BalloFlex to get the max benefit? Is it something that you say 2 to 3 times a week?
Yeah, that's a good question. You know, there's no reason why somebody couldn't do 5 days a week. But you know me, I'm a hardcore athlete. Like, come on. But truly, because these are subtle movements. These are subtle movements. So if you could at least do 3 days a week, I mean, if you could do 3 days a week is like even better, like at least 3 days a week. So if you could do 3 minutes a week or 3 classes a week, great. If not, I highly, highly recommend every single day, at least 5 minutes. Like, I'm a baby step type of a person, because a lot of times we want to do fitness and we just whatever. So if you could commit to 5 minutes a day doing some of these simple moves, and I'm going to go over after we do questions and answers, some moves that I highly recommend doing while you're watching television. So if you can commit to doing that for 5 minutes, I'll take that. That's, to me, that's better than 3 class a week for 30 minutes. And then you fall off in a couple weeks. Like, yeah.
There is someone asking if you have a website in order to participate, but I also wanted to mention that Terry is one of our care coordinators. And I think we've mentioned, but worth mentioning again, that twice a month, well, every Monday, we have what we call Movement Monday. And 2 of those Mondays, Terry conducts BalloFlex classes. And the other 2 Mondays, we focus more on general strengthening exercises. So great opportunities. If they wanted to be able to access BalloFlex outside of Kendal, where would they go to try to attend?
Yeah, good question. Okay, so yes, I do have BalloFlex classes online. So you can go to the balloflex.com website, and there's, I think it's like $10 a month, and you get a ton of classes, like a ton, but they're not live. So, I mean, they're good. And you're going to have me horsing around with my furry cat Dash, and you'll see this in some of the different places. But there's a lot of different classes, and there's 6 levels of BalloFlex classes. When you start, definitely look for level 2 or 3 in that class, because all the classes are separated by levels. Okay. And then, of course, reach out to me if you have any questions. I am very, very available to people at any time, whether you're phoning me or text, and I respond very quickly. If I don't respond quickly, something's not right. So I always tell people that. But Terry is definitely leading those twice a month, which I highly, highly prefer and recommend that. I mean, of course, I want you to come to my classes and for me, but I'm not going to be able to see you live, and Terry will. And that being with her, she can kind of, be with you, and you can ask her questions in real time. And then you're going to have that community. So, but yes, you may go online. They're fully accessible. And then the classes do switch out. Like every like month, I'll switch out. Like, I'll take away 3 classes and I'll add 2, and then I'll take away 6 classes and add 10. So the classes do switch up.
Excellent. Terry, what kind of training did you have to go through to become certified in BalloFlex?
I actually got to meet with Julie in her dance studio, and we had a day of training and certification. And then it was sort of, she taught me, and then I taught her, and she instructed me and if I was appropriate. So Julie, I'm not sure if you're doing more training now, but I know that BalloFlex instructors are needed out there because it is a fun class. We do enjoy it.
Excellent.
Thank you. And Terry, I'm glad you really said that, because for those of you that are out there that, still get around a lot and you're very active, I do need more certified teachers. And I think my oldest certified teacher was like, I think she was 80. So, and I mean, she was doing a couple classes a week, and it's like, this is not just like, it doesn't matter what your age is. My oldest student now, I think he's 100. I have 104. And I have 101. His name is Stanley. He just had it. Actually, he's 103 now. So he just had another birthday party. And he comes to my class 3 days a week. And there's nothing I do slow in my class. I mean, I'll teach people how to control. Like, I teach people how to gauge your own body, because that's really important. But man, he's like this. I mean, he's not. And, we don't know what we can still do until we try, and I'm always encouraging safe. I mean, I definitely am a safe leader. Everything's about being safe. Everything's about talking to your doctor first or asking questions. So when you come to Terry's class, you can ask her questions direct, like right there. Okay. So always check. I definitely give that disclaimer, and you have to gauge your own body. But there's a difference, and I need to point this out. Like when you're doing a move, it's like you're putting your own energy behind the move. So you can just do it like really super light and really little. So my range of motion is little, and the energy I'm putting, or you can, so there's a huge difference just between this and this. So you as a, a participant, when you come to Terry's class, you can ask her those questions of, is this too much? Or, so that's why having an in-person lead teacher is really, really good. And of course, if you're doing classes with me online, you definitely want to call me or send me a little message so that I can call you, or maybe I can just log onto the computer really quick so I can see you. So,
Julie, I think there's a question asking if you could talk about what the difference between the different levels is in those higher level classes.
Yes, great question. Okay, so level 6, beware, that is like really crazy. Oh, but you'll love it for your grandkids, because on level 6 classes, you're done. We do it on the big yoga ball. Okay, so the big fitness ball, and the kids really do love it, but it is tough. So level 1 starts with that, just level 1. Typically people that are very, very low functioning. I mean, we're talking stroke victims, people that are coming off of a really bad car accident or any like severe injury, or they have no ability to move the lower body whatsoever. So it's level 1 is like the pin drop. Like it's like you can barely move. And I've done a lot of level 1 classes. And the difference when I teach is, I'm just going to sit back here a little bit. When I teach, I keep my range of motion in a different space. So instead of coming out like here, I'm keeping it like really close to the body, okay? Everything's done in a smaller range and it's very light, okay? I'm barely using lower body at all. If I'm doing any lower body, it's just simple things like a toe touch or the side step. There's nothing complex. I've had a lot of Parkinson's severe, I mean, we're talking severe, and they can do my class, and it's so awesome. So anybody that's recovering from anything, or they're just very low functioning, they're still gonna get the energy, and that's what we're looking for. We're looking to feel better here and here. So it's not necessary, it's not really anything to do with here, okay? So it's really little. And even something little like this, just going like this for somebody that's severely, it's got different challenges. Something little like this is still getting that little bounce that we're looking for. So that little bounce, we need to go over that more because you guys really need to get that. That little bit of subtle movement is what's getting the endorphins to kick off in the body, because that's what we're needing to happen. Level 2 is a tad up for level 2 is just a slight notch up from level 1. So each level, it gets increasingly a little bit bigger. What I just led you through just now is kind of like a level 3. Okay, so it's kind of like when I'm doing movements plus arms and lower body, that's like a mid-level 3. Okay, so I had no idea what anybody was able to do with me today. I intuitively just lead. But as people get to know me and get to know Terry, we teach you how to listen to your own body. We're just little like the lead dancer, and you pick and choose like how high you want to move your arms, how low you want to keep them, how much energy you're doing. So you always have the control of the dial of the program, which is really cool. So you can take somebody that's extremely in shape and very active to somebody that is barely in shape to somebody who is, say, struggling from a stroke survivor, or you can have 10 different people at different places and everybody can still take the class, and nobody needs to be separated out to take another class. And that's what I like about it. So we teach you how to kind of control those motions. So level 3, I would say if you were comfortable with the speed I did with you, I would definitely look for level 2 or 3. The 4, 5, and 6, those are the higher levels. So those are the levels where you're pretty active. Very active, pretty active. Let's see. I would think all of your classes will be 3 and 4, unless you're really in shape. And the differences of like level 4 and 5, we're constantly using upper body and lower body at the same time. But that's the difference. Or the moves are more complex. The dance moves are a little bit more complex and the transitions are more complex. But totally, if you're on my website, just watch it. Watch a level 5 class, watch a level 6, take a look at it. If any of you have grandchildren, yeah, this is good stuff, because you can play around with some of these moves. I'll teach you how to tune in and teach you how to march and a couple dance steps. And you can put your grandchild's favorite music on and do it with them. Teach them how to do it. Let them teach you is even better. That's a great game to play with small children, is let them teach you and to create different things that they can be the teacher, you be the student. Like it's just a great way to interact in a movement, dynamic way. Does anybody have any other questions before I go into some of my top favorite things to do during the day to tone and tighten the tummy?
I think there's one more, Julie. Are all of the classes seated?
Yes.
No matter the level. Okay.
Great question. Every single class, it doesn't matter how in shape somebody is, everything's seated. And the reason why I keep everybody seated is because you're working your core muscles. If we stood and if we did this class standing, you will not be toning and tightening the muscles like you are when you're sitting. So it's kind of like yoga class, most of yoga class is seated, or spin class is seated. And, there's specifically, but we're not staying seated because of our inability to stand. It's actually the opposite. It's for the toning and the strengthening of the class. Even small kids, like if they're little, 2 and 3, I'll seat them on the floor. And then after 1 or 2 songs, I jump them up so that we're like frogs and we start really running around because I need to move their energy. But I bring them back to the floor to teach the dance steps and get them to move in the way that they're learning rhythm, coordination, and all that, and working their core muscles.
Someone else is asking if we do any balance exercises, and we do circuit training currently, focusing on upper and lower body and core, and we will likely soon be bringing in some specific exercises that are focused on balance and fall reduction. So definitely, if you have not been attending Movement Mondays, you will see some of those exercises incorporated in the next couple of weeks as well.
And if anybody wanted more strength training, BalloFlex is still a good class because you can add those little wrist weights or ankle weights. So that if you want toned muscles, I have these little pythons. I'm like a little chick, but I got these little, my muscles are strong. And it's coming from BalloFlex. I throw little 1-pounder weights on. And if you are a weight person, of course, check with your doctor. But when you start, you might only need to keep the weights on for 1 or 2 songs and then ditch the weights so it doesn't overtask your muscles as you're figuring out what you can do. Okay. All right, let's go over a couple of my favorite moves that I really, really, really think is important. I'll go over a couple of my favorite ab ones. Like I love them for my own personal, because I know they work. And also some of the things that you can do when you're watching TV that I really, really would love to see you starting today as quickly as possible doing, because it really does work. Okay, so the muscle group that you need, and here comes my fitness expertise coming in. Okay, so this motion of just this up and down on a chair, okay, which is really important. And if we fall or if we are sick for a long period of time and we're bed bound, these muscles really get weak really fast. The cool thing is, and I know this to be true, if you're in better shape before you fall down or get sick, you will recover quicker. Now, I do know that statistically proven. It's not about when you fall down, or it's not about will you fall down, it's when you fall down or when you get sick, because it happens to all of us, no matter how invincible we think we are. But this motion here is super important. And these are, I kid you not, so silly, simple. And if you are recovering from an injury or accident that is not simple, I don't want to minimize your challenge with this by any means. But if you bring up your leg and literally just go like this, it's called a leg. I call it a leg bounce, my high-tech move, okay? So I'm just doing this. All I'm doing is bouncing the leg. And if you want to like make your quads strong, like strengthen your quad, and or little weight people throw that weight on there. And you can do them both at the same time if you want. But this particular movement does a couple things. One, it's working this muscle, the real low one. And especially like women, when we have babies, this is a very hard area to actually help tighten in the tummy. So if any of you ladies have daughters or granddaughters or stepdaughters that are having babies, that's a really good one to help redevelop those muscles right there. And something simple, very simple to do. So the leg bounce. And unless your doctor's saying don't do this, this is doing a couple things. Not only is it working that muscle, most importantly, your body is getting, it's almost like the pump is going for your endorphins, like those natural chemicals that go off in your body. So, and I would know this because I'm a little fitness junkie. I know that. So if I sit here just like this, and there's a bounce that's happening, and if you can do it, I can't see you, so you can do away. But if you sit here like this, there's that bounce that's happening in the body. So what my body thinks is happening right now, my body thinks it's going like this. Now I'm a runner, I would know. My body is, it thinks it's doing something cardio when it's not, okay? Flutter kicks, same thing, you're working those same muscles. Tighten your quad. If you want more, sit up straight. Now flutter kicks, there's gonna be more energy involved in it. So this is a great one when you're watching television. You can sit there, both of them. Love these, love, love, love. Most of us, including me, and I'm an athletic woman, I am very weak in my hips. Okay, my hips are very, very weak. And I work on my hips and my hips are still weak. So this one is a great one. Again, you're working those lower muscles, but you're working and strengthening on those hips, okay? So those are my two favorite leg things. If I would pick anything for you to do that, if you remember me for the rest of your life, Julie says do this. I don't remember why, but just do it because it works and it'll help you feel better up here. Of course, any of the moves, I mean, you can do anything with the feet and the legs while you're watching, you know, sitting outside. Of course, all that stuff is good, but my true favorite one, I really love these. They're so important, and it also helps with circulation in your legs. It helps to reduce cellulite in the back of your legs because it's constantly kind of giving a little bit of a massage. And I had one of my students, it didn't happen for me, but she swore that her cellulite on the back of her legs actually improved. And she was one of my teachers. She was like 68 or something like that. She was a hardcore fitness person. So, all right. So those are my two favorite that you could do, like just easy when you're watching television. And those aren't really the moves, but it's just something easy you can do. For your core muscles, there's a couple of them that are my favorite. And I just love it because they work so well. And again, your posture is everything. And you can practice, even when we start practicing doing this, if you're not used to sitting like this, it's going to be tiring because all these are muscles. I'm literally having to hold myself up in this position all day long. And just sitting like this is working my core, okay? Just sitting like that. Now, I know some of you may have grandchildren, and have you ever noticed, like when you see their pictures, like their homecoming or prom pictures, you see them in these beautiful dresses, the girls, but the girls' shoulders are like this. And I bet you if you go through homecoming pictures, you'll see it. Like their shoulders are kind of dipped in a little bit. So they might have the posture here, but they're rolling in their shoulders. So rolling their shoulders slightly back, those are muscles. But starting to use those muscles will help you get more oxygen to your brain. So the more oxygen to the brain, the better you'll feel. So my favorite core ones, like if you were going to throw in a 2-minute or like a minute core workout from Julie, put those hands in prayer like this. I love it. And all you do is go like this. You just bounce. And again, it's simulating that bounce move again, that running move. But if you hold up nice and straight, 1, 2, 1, 2, it really works your side obliques and you'll feel it. The cool thing is about all these moves, when you do it, if you pay attention to your body, you're going to feel what it's working. But I love that one. I love that one. And the next one, okay, I always tell people I'm not doing this for fun. I'm actually doing it because it works. It's called drive. And you literally just go like this, but you need to hold your core tight. So if you squeeze your butt cheeks a little bit, it's called in yoga, it's called a root lock. You need to kind of anchor your body in because you don't want to be yanking at your lower back. You want to keep it nice and strong. And just go like this. Do this one with your grandkids. Okay, this one's a good one to, you know, play around with because, you know, you can actually, but just if you just sit here and do it for like 10 seconds, you'll feel it. That one works aside oblique. So those are my two absolute favorite for just strengthening the core, strengthening. And that's more for, well, for everything, because the stronger a core is, the better you're going to feel. So that's a lot of stuff that I went over. So hopefully I was able to give a good picture about what BalloFlex is. I'm thrilled to be partnering with your company. So thank you guys so much for having me today. And definitely if any of you can get to Terry's class, please do what you can to mark your calendars to show up. Fitness is so important. Even if it's not a BalloFlex class, the other classes, all movement matters. And even if you can only show up for these classes for 5 minutes a day, do it. Just do it. You don't have to stay for the whole thing, but I highly, 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 highly recommend. Movement matters. So please show up. So thank you.
They're asking for your website. So I'm going to just type that in so that they have access.
Oh my gosh. And I'm on Facebook too. And if you want to see a ton of pictures of Dash, I feel bad he didn't come to class. He was like being shy about it, but BalloFlex.com. I don't know if that'll, but I'm Julie Buckeye. Julie Buckeye. You can find me on social media. You can Google me, and please don't hesitate to reach out. I really, it is my privilege to serve you. So it's not an inconvenient to hear from any of you.
Thank you so much, Julie. Your energy is contagious for sure. So we
Okay, you guys all want to do BalloFlex now? Let's do it. Yes.
Yes. Thank you, Julie. Nice seeing your face again.
Yeah, good to see you. Yes.